Welcome to my second part of Configure Network Standard Switches and VSS Policies. In this configuration tab there are a number of different elements: a networking mode, networking adapters. I have three VMNICs on my server: VMNIC 0, which is connected to the VM switch management, VMNIC 1, VMNIC 3, which are not connected to the switch. These are sitting unused at this particular point. Here on the networking tab we have a graphical representation of how the physical adapters link into the physical networks, and the switches itself, effectively the grey box. Anything on the right side of the grey box corresponds to something on the physical world, such as a physical adapter. Anything on the left hand side of the corresponds to a logical world, some of the port. I haven't made any changes to this other than adding the host ESXi host server right into Sphere. Physical adapter VMNIC 0, first adapter of the adapter on this computer, is connected to the vSwitch. This vSwitch on the other side plugged into the VNetwork kernel port 192.168.0.202, which is used for the management network. This is the pathway which corresponds sent into the host for the purposes of management network are required for this host. Also connected to the vSwitch is a virtual machine port group called the network, and any other virtual machines are on ESXi could be added into the virtual machine port groups, and they would get this IP address, are available to the port group logical side of the network, and this is the physical side. I can change the properties of the network by pressing the properties button. vSwitch has 120 ports. If you click on the edit button, we could change the MTU properties, which is in jumbo frames is usually set 1500 by default. We could set this up to 9000. You could enable jumbo frames across this switch. In the security tab there are a number of policies which could be set to define how traffic is allowed to pass through the switch. First is the promiscuous mode. MAC address changes, forward transmits. Promiscuous mode is on reject, which is turned off. If you have any IDS, these systems would need to require permissions mode to be turned on so they can monitor the traffic across the ports on the switch. Most of the time would be set to reject. MAC addresses. Windows clustering network load balancing to support IP addresses being able to route multi-different servers. MAC addresses are spoofed from one hop to the next. You can set these on the switch side, or you can see fit. There are some minimal traffic shaping policies you can set here. If you enable traffic shaping, this would enable the bandwidth. Also the reverse, if you enable traffic shaping, this would enable average bandwidth, peak and bandwidth. Also the burst size occurs across that connection. Add networking button. You can see here I can add a V kernel which handles the traffic for ESI, vMotion, iSCSI, NFS and host management. Let's call it storage. I don't want to use any of these services because I want to bind this specifically used by the storage network. Next, put an IP address in, a subnet mask. This is the first step and required to make a connection. There is one last thing here. If we go to the properties tab, and we go down to the management network, go edit. Here there are three services available for me: vMotion, fault tolerance and managed traffic. I want to combine my vMotion traffic with the management traffic checkboxes. Now I have configured this connection properly. Thank you for watching my video. The next video I'm going to do is storage.